I dreamed literally of working at Disney. I would just pour through all the books, the art of Sleeping Beauty, the art of Pinocchio, all those kinds of things, and just daydreamed about working for them. And then when I was at art school, I worked in animation a little bit, and was felt a little stifled creatively. Didn't feel like I had the freedom that I had hoped for, and that's when I really started shifting gears and thinking about what other ways I can make the art that I want to make and tell the stories that I want to tell. And I have kind of a immature sense of humor, and I've always been kind of a goofball, so I figured kids books was a pretty good fit for me. So I started taking kids book classes and just haven't really looked back since. I've went to school with so many extremely talented people who just for one reason or another weren't organized, weren't practical, weren't realistic. And so even though they might be able to, run circles around me when it comes to painting or whatever, I decided to try to have an intelligent approach to my career, and I feel like I've really succeeded as a result of those decisions. I had a book that I was wanting to pitch. I put together what's called a book dummy, which is what you submit to a publisher to get a book deal. I had some paintings to go along with it so that they would see what the final art would look like. I thought the story was, I thought about my audience. I thought that the story was really appropriate for a picture book audience. I moved to New York where all the publishers are. I kind of found ways of getting into the illustration and literary community there. And I met an editor at a party randomly. My editor, Alvina Ling, who's amazing. She works at Little Brown and Company, and she's been my editor ever since. Well, the Purple Kangaroo is the new book. It's the first picture book that I've illustrated but not written. I've illustrated a few chapter books for kids that I did not write, but this is the first picture book. They really gave me a lot of freedom. In fact, before I even signed up to make the book, I kind of said, well, I have this history of writing and illustrating books, so I'm happy to take on this project, but I want to be able to just sink my teeth into this thing and have some fun and see where my imagination takes me. If this is going to be a really restrictive thing, I'm maybe not interested. And they said that they just wanted me to go crazy and have fun with it. On the cover you see there's a monkey who's the narrator of the story, and in the manuscript there's no mention of a monkey, and there's no mention of these sort of dream bubbles. A lot of the storytelling is done through the pictures, which is what I wanted. And so it was fun. So I actually got to contribute in a large way to the real heart of the story, even though the stuff that I added is not mentioned in the manuscript at all. So every book makes me nervous. I never know quite what I'm going to get myself into. I just finished last week a book called Children Make Terrible Pets, which will come out in September. And I remember it's about a bear who finds a boy in the woods and takes him home to be her pet. And I remember when I started this book, The Curious Garden was really successful, and I was feeling like maybe this wasn't the best follow-up to that. I didn't really have the story worked out. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to be able to turn it into a worthwhile book, But I just kind of took a leap of faith, and my editor believed in me, and it really worked out. And I have to say, I think it's probably the best book I've ever made. And in the beginning, I thought it was going to be maybe a forgettable book that I would just, would disappear quickly. But I think it's probably my strongest book ever. So, well, and if you think about a picture book, when it has 200 words, like I was saying before, every word counts. Every syllable, every sound has to matter, has to be right. And if it's not, people either consciously or subconsciously pick up on that, and they might have a negative reaction to the book. It's a very, if anything, I get so involved and so nitpicky because I know every syllable matters and every page and every illustration is so important, that I think we get people who write and illustrate books get even more detail-oriented and more kind of obsessive over these things. When you're writing a 500-page book, you can have a sentence here or there, a paragraph, even a chapter that might be a little bit of a clunker, and still have the book work really well. In a picture book, you don't have that luxury. So, it's true. Not just everybody can write a picture book.